across the world, people are absolutely fed up with having their populations replaced by third world immigrants, and not just a few of them, but a complete influx that has just gotten more and more extreme since COVID. So much so that CNN is even being forced to admit now that Trump's approval rating on immigration has gone up like a rocket compared to 8 years ago. This is a trend that's going to continue, and mark my words, every single Western leader that goes hard on immigration from this point forward will be favored by the people. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. But first, let's take a listen to a little bit of that CNN clip.
This is Trump's net approval rating on immigration. It's gone up like a rocket. Compare now versus 8 years ago during Trump's first term. Look at this. In his first term, Trump was way underwater at minus 21 points. But look at this. He's up over 20 points. Some other polls even have it a little bit higher than that. There is no issue on which Trump is doing so much better than he was in his first term, more than the issue of immigration program to deport those here illegally. Look at this, 54% approval. The American electorate believe that the Democrats don't have a clue on the issue of immigration. 3 different polls for you across the board. They all tell the same story. Republicans lead on the issue of immigration. You see it here, CBS +6. You see it here, CNN +6. You see it here, Ipsos, even bigger, +19. No matter what poll you look at, no matter which way you cut it, the American public is with the Republicans, the American public is with Donald Trump, and to a much greater extent than they were in term number 1. And it's not just on the broad issue of immigration, it's on the specifics as well.
Some great energy from Harry Enton there. He's very excited. But he's telling the truth. And it's important to look at why these numbers are up so much higher than they were 8 years ago. 8 years ago, we were living in a time of extreme political correctness, aka liberalism or progressive brainwashing. People were buying into the lie from our institutions and media that the only loving thing to do was to be tolerant of absolutely everything, including things that destroy your society. This was true of the LGBT movement, which very quickly descended into men dancing naked in front of children and peeing in makeshift pools in the streets during pride parades. It also very quickly descended into the dreamers, aka undocumented illegal immigrants who were here for a better future, flooding an open border, building cells within the United States, running drug and child trafficking operations on US soil, and participating in riots in LA, waving foreign flags around to tell you how much they deserve to stay in America illegally. This is a huge problem all across the Western world. We've seen the rape gangs running rampant in the UK. No one in the American media really knows about this, but Australia currently has a problem with migrants running around attacking people with machetes regularly. The government has banned machetes, but of course, law-abiding citizens aren't the ones chasing people down with machetes. Criminal migrants are. And Australian people have no way of defending themselves against these violent gangs. The verdict is in, and people are en masse rejecting the replacement migration agenda. And before the fact checkers come running, here is the United Nations Population Division document titled Replacement Migration. This isn't a conspiracy, it's a published agenda, and the agenda is in the name. It's about replacing the population of the nation. And this has far-reaching consequences beyond just taking a few jobs and houses, though that is an extremely serious problem that is occurring, especially in places like Canada and Australia in particular, which for 2 years now has been filled with scenes of Australian families sleeping on the streets while migrants are given priority housing. And we're now at the problem in America, especially with these latest riots, that even John Fetterman can't defend the problem. He says, I unapologetically stand for free speech, peaceful demonstrations, and immigration, but this is not that. This is anarchy and true chaos. My party loses the moral high ground when we refuse to condemn setting cars on fire, destroying buildings, and assaulting law enforcement. But the question is, what got us to this point? It was years of open borders, illegal immigration, being soft on crime, and more importantly, liberal ideology. I'm not someone who fully believes in the left-right paradigm because I understand how it's used as a political and control mechanism that keeps the two-party illusion going. But there is real liberal ideology out there, and the markers are always the same. Open borders, soft on crime, talk to your children about sex, try to cut their genitals off, you're a white supremacist just because of the skin color you were born with, etc. This ideology is completely incompatible with a functioning, thriving society and, in a huge part, unable to be fixed while your communities are surrounded with foreign invaders and people who simply do not match your culture and your values. So that brings us to the current predicament, a situation with mass immigration, for the most part, of an illegal nature, left unchecked for far too long. In comes Donald Trump and the current administration, who acknowledges the problem and even campaigned on this issue, who was voted in based on said campaign promises and is now acting on it. And the people want it. They want this action. They want the illegals and foreign invaders out. This is going to be, as we said at the outset, the trend across the West moving forward. Countries can benefit from legal immigration, the brain drain, importing people who wish to assimilate and value the values of a country. But these things are imperative, and the United States seems to be the only country taking this seriously, especially when it comes to the issue of sharing the values of the nation. The rest of the West has a thing or two to learn from this current situation, and people will be demanding similar action before long.